So, hey, how are you doing? So this is my 4-year anniversary, talking about me being on YouTube for 4 years. That was yesterday. Today's the 9th. So one thing I have to say is that perhaps I didn't realize, because I have my whole life and most people only know me for my 4 years on YouTube. So during most of that time, like after I'd been on YouTube for maybe 8 months, I got turned on to the paleo diet by Truth Calkins, who was, I was totally an heroic, sort of like amazing person to me, somebody that I totally related to. And this was like when I'd already met him, but he had become a pretty serious influence on me because, well, there's a lot about us that's very similar, sort of extreme stuff. And I'm older than Truth, but we're kind of like the fact that his parents were hippies and I kind of had that background. So we had a lot of similar stuff, especially growing up in rural areas and stuff like that, and having a very fantastic childhood. So I told you all that because it's probably one of the first people that became pretty, I became seriously influenced by, where I was, it was very heroic kind of thing. So that was 2010 that happened, that I actually ate meat for the first time in nearly 25 years of being a raw vegan. So to all of you that don't know that, I've been a raw vegan since, vegetarian at age 13 I became, and then at 22 I became vegan and a raw foodist, and that would have been in 1985. And so then, and so a part of this is because I'm changing over back to being like a strict vegan from an ethical point of view, which is not the reason why I became vegetarian and vegan in the first place. I became more health oriented. That was my thinking of living. I was just drawn to it. And as the same thing, I'm just drawn back to doing it, being vegan. So I'm just telling you, I didn't really realize in my mind, when I only think of the slice of time that you've been looking at me, you think of me more as a paleo kind of person because, well, for the last 3 years I've been talking about eating that, having a background of still being plant-based, but I just feel the pull of the ethical thing, and I have to go with what I feel. And I don't want to go off on that right now, but so I'm more into the raw vegan thing especially, and the ethical reasons, the sustainability. And you know what? I don't care if the other diet is healthier. I actually have to just consider myself, being that I'm 50 and the most of my life has been plant-based, raw vegan. So for sure I can identify that I got off with the wrong thinking on consuming fats. And so I have to consider what I have, and what I have is I still look good, I think good, I like everything about myself, totally love everything about myself, really into that, I really accept myself, I'm very free, still very childlike. So I have to go with the way that I work, and I got caught up in the hype of the whole paleo thinking. The thing is that a lot of our history, paleo thinking only goes back to this era of, whoops, I'm trying to do things at the time. The paleo thinking only goes back to this time when man was screwed, and I'm into the New Age thing. I believe we kind of had this fall from grace, and we were more spiritual beings. Well, I'm not saying that you can't be spiritual and eat meat. There's a lot of things that are kind of odd. There's a lot of highly evolved souls that smoke tobacco on a regular basis. People think they kind of know everything, and that's how there's this whole element to the raw vegan community that's a joke, because they just think that that's like the magic bullet, and there's just more to it. There's the whole, where I'm at now is a spiritual practice, and I'm trying to design a spiritual practice around sort of following Buddhist principles, and that's things that's been affecting me. But I'm trying to do it in my own artist-free way of not like religion and dogma and anything that have to do with where somebody tells me, oh, do this. For me, that's not gonna work. My destiny in this life is as a magician, the magician. A magician designs religions and ways, so there's no way, and I'm an advocate of that. At the end of the day, everything that I've always been through is that you ought to be designing your own life. So, music playing in the background is my new record. My Flying Potion release by my longtime entity, 30 plus years, Second Culture. It's getting some pretty good radio play on college radio, and it's to my advantage to have a new release out. I'd already been working on it before Flying Potion was ever done. And that's a big part of this thing too. Don't let me forget that, because there's something I want to tell you. But anyways, so you're listening to some of the new material. I've been moving forward. Amazing stuff about myself, my creativity, my expanding my brain to be able to play instruments, getting some interesting, very creative techniques going on guitar and stuff, and that's really what it's all about, is the creative spirit, is the childlike spirit, you know? All children are artists at birth, and it's all your uptight fucking bullshit. You're uptight fucking bullshit, because I don't own that shit. That crushes the artists out of kids, and that's the number 2 thing about the whole Live Rock Star program, is keeping the creativity going, because that's the creativity, the spiritual awareness, that's the only things that separate us from the animals. Otherwise we are animals, and a lot more people are animals than really spiritual creative beings, or just like living like farm animals, just being a herd. I'm not a good herd either. Anyways, so what I wanted to tell you about was that's a little bit different about me, because it's like I definitely have to be like this voice, you know. Especially I was thinking about being critical of Life Regenerator, and it's just like I need to do that. That's all I'm doing here, is just being a voice where some people can't really think for themselves, and they gotta follow somebody, and I'm okay with that. I can tell you right now, I'm a lot extreme. You guys probably ought to be following me. You'd be in better shape following me than you would be damn the man Life Regenerator. But I gotta say my piece about him, because it's like I'm a light worker, you know? And one thing about being a light worker is helping other people see the light. And there's just a whole way that what people think is good is not really good, and it's not a wide view of what is really good. Because there's all these people that think they're so cool and raw and amazing, but it's like, how much do you support equality? You know? How much do you do you not support children being free and fixing broken people? I mean, the way that they go about it is not even observing the darkness. So I got to keep that part of me going. That's kind of like a little bit of a critic, whatever. I don't get that much criticism, but somebody comes along, like one guy said, "You got a big arrogant mouth." Something about I got a potty mouth, and it's just like, it's kind of a character, you know? It's like I spend a lot of time alone, and I just I wouldn't, you know, I met a few people here and there, but I'm not necessarily like that. Like, a part of this just being who I am, and it's like this artist thing. Artists gotta observe society, you know? So that's a lot of what's going on here. But the vegan thing, I gotta think that's gonna be permanent with me, because I'm feeling a lot of the vegan politics, about that there's really not enough food, and that the whole paleo thinking is a bunch of bullshit, and kind of some of that stuff like about eating hybrid food, that's retarded. I'd like to know how many paleo people like smoke marijuana. You know, I probably think that's like paleo. Paleo means it's like not hybrid, or that you're doing post-agricultural. One of the most hybridized plants on this planet, without a doubt, is marijuana, or cannabis, or whatever you want to call it. So the whole like gotta be wild, all that shit, that's just such a like, just because somebody can say something and convince other people of things doesn't necessarily make it right. So a lot of things I've been through, you know, on this website. The biggest thing, adding the music, I'm really wanting to push. That's probably why I don't like get so many hits, is because I'm not focused enough. I talk about philosophical things and religion and you know, a lot of that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the song of the day. So yesterday I was working with my friend Chris, who's joining Second Culture. Oh yeah, I should probably just go ahead and. So anyways, this is up on my YouTube channel right now. This is unlinked hit, unlisted. The song of the day is going to be another one of my songs. It's a song called Reishi King. And this is a video that where we did a little live performance kind of thing, kind of DJ, sort of like whatever, with instruments here and there, and filmed it with some trippy psychedelic look to it. So I haven't really released a set. You guys get a first chance to see it. The song's called Reishi King, and it's all about just like the lyrics that are sung in it are kind of just an expression. They're made up words, and so the effect that Reishi's had on my life has been, I can't really describe it. I don't feel comfortable with talking about Reishi and exactly what it does, because the only one thing that I know about Reishi for sure that I feel is that once you start taking Reishi, or taking a period of doing it therapeutically, you sort of recognize your life as pre and post Reishi. And Ramani Dean Thomas, he's the one who said that in his book Healing Threshold. So my song of the day is Reishi King by my project Second Culture. So we got to talk a little bit about that. That's an important thing. Is like my whole lightworker thing, like you're doing the music and supporting vegan consciousness and being compassionate to everybody, everything. I did a meditation with my friend Chris about seeing everything as your mother. Every person, every experience, every road that you drive on, anything that you meet, because you don't know really where you came from. And it's like, you think about some of the smallest experiences that actually maybe were a major crossroad in your consciousness. Well, that thing would be your mother. That would be like of that profoundness. So it was a long meditation I did on this. It really changed my point of view about compassion and having a lot of gratitude for things that make us who we are. Again, getting into some Buddhist principles. So and all of that's important. That's why this blog will always be here to those who recognize this kind of stuff. That there's no way that you could just talk specifically about, oh, this nutrition, that nutrition, and you're going to be an evolved person. That's where I'm just like, I'm totally different, man, because I'm living a life. I actually, people that are like kind of like health practitioners, they actually, yeah, they live a life doing that, but most people do something and you're into health. So I do that all the time, and that's why this will always be about philosophy and about social issues and about nutrition and about what I'm eating and about being raw vegan and about being sustainable and about being concerned about the fact that there's 7 billion people on the planet and that most of those people are all broken and following stupid principles. So anyways, this track here, badass. Unlocking Secrets. You're hearing it for the first time. This will be released in the fall. So, it's around week 6.